everyone, I'm Dr. Jeannie Bertoli, relationship and divorce trainer.
And I'm Ty Saponchik, family law attorney.
I want to welcome you to another one of our videos. Today is going to be about bringing closure to that marital relationship or that partnership. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to use the word marriage, but know that we mean any kind of partnership, gay, straight, married or not. This is for you as your relationship is ending. So first I want to tell you that this is a really important issue to bring closure to this marriage, because if you have children, you are not going to end this relationship ever. You're going to be co-parents for life. And yet this is a totally new relationship, shifting from one where you are partners in romantic ways and other ways to one where you are co-parents. And because you're trying to create a new relationship, the boundaries, the rules, everything is different and everything changes. And so we're going to talk about bringing an emotional and legal closure to that relationship. Ty?
So number one is to honor the importance of the relationship. When someone passes, you don't focus on the cancer that killed them. You focus on the life they led, the joy they spread, the people they impacted. That's what you have to honor, is the actual relationship when it was good, when it was working. And that's critically important, because if you just focus on what made it end, there's no way to move forward. There's too much anger and energy around that. So honoring the importance of the relationship, no matter how it ends.
Yeah. You know, sometimes I think we forget that these were people we once loved and had all this time invested. You said earlier, this wasn't a fling. This wasn't a short-term thing. This is a relationship that mattered. And so it's worthy of being honored no matter how it ends. So I love this is Ty's idea, and I love it so much. So the next thing is to recognize actually how you're doing today, to be honest with yourself and say, I'm okay, I'm not okay, in terms of emotional bonding with the other person or anger toward the other person. How am I doing? And then when you're done with that, do it also for your ex. Really just sit back and think, how is he or she doing with this? That's going to give you a great gauge for a starting point, and to really start to think about more just contemplatively, how are we today?
So number three is the concept of the marriage or the relationship eulogy. I heard someone, when they were a kid in school, the teachers had them write a eulogy for themselves, with the idea that if you wanted your gravestone to say he was kind and loving, that maybe you'd be kind and loving earlier in your life. So victors write history. The people who win get to say what actually happened. And you have a chance to win in the end of your relationship and create a story for your kids. So if you wrote a eulogy that they were kind and loving parents and they were good for their kids, they put their kids first, and the two of you could agree on it. You could write your own, or you could agree on the story you're going to tell your kids. I grew up hearing that my grandfathers were no good, layabout, lousy drunks. Men were horrible. True, absolutely true.
Sometimes.
But crippling for the kids.
Yeah.
And it was really unnecessary for the kids to have that story. It would have been more empowering if the truth is your grandfather was spontaneous. And I heard this, by the way, because my grandparents remarried after 30 years.
Wow.
So I heard as an adult, he was so spontaneous. We met, he was an usher in a movie theater, and he took me out and he wined me and dined me. We had the most fun. And he had an alcohol problem. And we're married again now 30 years later because he's dry or he's sober. So we could have had a very different eulogy, and it would have probably been much better for us as kids.
Wow. It's really something to think about. Stephen Covey called it putting the end in mind, keeping the end in mind. And it's about being more intentional. I love that one. So number 4 is to get buy-in. So this is where you can go to your partner, your ex-partner, and say, we have this common goal. We're going to be co-parents for the rest of our lives. How about we try to set up a new relationship? How about we bring closure? How about we talk about what happened and set up some new boundaries? That may or may not happen, but it's a great idea. And even if you don't have the other person's buy-in on this, meaning if they're not interested in the conversation, you can still make these statements to yourself, and you can even write them a letter. You can write them a letter and let them know, this is how I'm going to be acting going forward, and here's why. And we're going to have a sample letter for you later on in the video. Maybe, maybe not.
Or you can send us an email and we'll mail it to you.
Yes, if we don't get to it, then you can subscribe to us, and we will send it to you. Your turn.
So in drafting that letter, I'm going to take your piece here.
Okay.
In drafting that letter, you can make a commitment to being kind, to showing respect, to apologizing when necessary. Those are the kinds of things that you can say in the letter. I'm going to try to conduct myself in a kind manner. I loved you once. I'm going to continue to love you. You'll always be the parents of my child. I wouldn't do anything that would hurt my child's parent. And those are the things to keep in mind.
I love that too, because it's not just for the letter, but we can individually make a commitment. And what we're talking about is being aspirational. You may not feel this all the time, but that you want to kind of make a declaration and a statement that this is the person I intend to be in this relationship. So you can make the commitment internally. You can make it in the letter to your partner or ex-partner, and you can just continue to keep it in your mind that I don't want to be cruel. I don't want to act out of my emotions or react because the other person is triggering me and because that's our old stuff kind of coming out again and again. But I decide, I'm committing to, I want to be kind and respectful. Kind and respectful, and when I'm not, I'm going to apologize.
It's kind of the golden rule. I would want my ex to be kind and respectful to me. I'm going to conduct myself in the same way.
Right. So number 6 is to measure your progress. Create a chart. Create some kind of way. We all know what gets measured gets done. So find some way to measure, here's how I'm doing. Maybe just simple as week to week, 1 to 10 scale. How did I do in terms of kindness and respect toward my ex? How did I do? Just a simple 1 to 10 scale. And then see if you're making progress. It's not about where you start. It's about making progress. And it's that iterative progress. We want you to be very realistic and knowing that you're not going to jump from a 1 to a 10 just because you want to. Don't set yourself up for failure like that. Be realistic. Here's where we are today. Here's where I am today because I'm the only person I can control. And then try to just make that small change. Kindness and respect. Kindness and respect. I love that because it's really simple and concrete. So what gets measured gets done. Keep a measure.
The last one, number 7, is to actually tie up legal loose ends. People get their divorce judgment and they think they're all done. They put it away and they stop. You're not all done. If you don't change the names on your financial accounts, if you don't change the name on the pay on death beneficiaries, if you don't change title on a vehicle, you're not done, and you can be hit with a horrible surprise. We've had cases where people got along great, they had a good divorce, they had good co-parenting, and 5 years down the road, a creditor clears out their bank account because they never took their spouse's name off the bank account that they were awarded. Wouldn't have been any problem, but they had to go to the bank and show the bank, this is the judgment, I'm awarded this bank account, please take my spouse's name off it. If you're driving the car, or your spouse is driving a car and you're still on title and they're in an accident, you're going to get sued because you didn't transfer the car at the DMV.
Wow.
It's very simple. It's one form. You go in, here's my divorce judgment, I got the car, you take their name off it.
Okay, so Ty, I wouldn't know where to start to have an exhaustive list.
Call a family law attorney.
Okay, so if people want that information, want an exhaustive list, they can email you.
Yes.
Or call you, one way or the other. Okay,
yeah.
Great.
And the link is below.
Okay, and because we're running out of time, I'm happy to provide a sample letter if you wanted to get some ideas of what you could send to your spouse and what your ex-spouse. I'll be happy to provide a sample letter for you. And that's about it for today, right?
That's it.
We will see you next time. And in case you forgot, divorce sucks.
But we can help.